Today we're gonna cook chicken and sausage gumbo. So let's get started. So for our chicken and sausage gumbo, we are gonna need roughly 5 to 6 pounds of chicken, which I use boneless chicken thighs, 5 to 6 pounds of sausage, and I use a good andouille sausage, chicken broth, oil and flour for our roux, our Cajun seasoning, some hot sauce, the Trinity, which is onions, bell pepper, and celery, a couple of cans of Rotel or diced tomatoes and chilies, gumbo filet, and we will be using okra in our gumbo. And I smother my okra beforehand, and so that will be another video down the road. So the first thing we need to get done is our roux. So let's get set up and let's get started. All right, like they say, every good gumbo starts with a roux. So we've got our 1 cup of oil heated, and now we're going to slowly add in our flour. I add it in about half a cup at a time, and then get it all stirred in and mixed. And like I said before, this is the one thing you do not want to rush, because if you rush this, you're going to burn it. Don't walk away, don't go anywhere, just sit here and stir. And my roux generally take about 30 minutes to cook. And we want to get this to a nice dark brown. So we're at about a cup of flour. Gonna mix that in. And this will make a cup and a half. And I generally make my roux a little bit thicker. Normally it's just a 1-to-1 ratio. I use mine. I do about a 1 to 1.5. So, alright, so we have got our oil and flour all incorporated, nice and good. So now we're going to just cook this till it gets to be the right color we need. And no need for y'all to sit here and watch 30 minutes of stirring. So once I get it to the color I like, we'll be right back. So our roux has been going for about 15 minutes now. And as you can see, it's already getting darker. So we are literally about halfway there. And so once I get it to the color I want, we'll be right back. Alright, so our roux is right where we want it. And we're just a little under 30 minutes. So now we are going to add our onions. And our bell peppers and celery. This is a good stir. I'm going to turn down the heat a little bit. Also add our Rotel. this cook for just a little bit. And then we will start adding in our chicken broth. Now this is a large serving of gumbo I'm making here. So you can literally, cut the recipe in half. And the roux, or a smaller batch, you can always store that. Alright, so let's start adding in our chicken broth. And I'm using 5 32-ounce containers of broth. Give that a stir. Now for the last one to go in, and then what we'll do is we'll let this come up to a boil and then incorporate and cook for about 30 minutes before we move on. So we'll let this cook up and come to a boil, and we'll be right back. So this has come up to a nice rolling boil, so we're going to add 2 tablespoons of your favorite Cajun seasoning, and then also 2 tablespoons of hot sauce. And we're gonna let this cook down, or continue cooking for another 30 minutes. And then we will add our sausage and start building our flavors. So see you in about 30 minutes. Bye. All right, so this has been going for about 30 minutes. We're gonna need to add about another 4 cups of chicken broth to this to bring it back up. Probably going to continue to add some more. So now we are going to add in our sausage. And be careful, this will splatter. And we're going to give this a stir. And we're going to let this cook down for another 30 minutes. And what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and test the seasoning. May need to add a little more Cajun seasoning to this. Yep, we're good for right now. So we're going to let this cook for another 30-45 minutes, and then we'll be back. So this has been going for about 30 minutes or so. All right, we're going to need to add another container of chicken broth. And to this, we will add in our chicken thighs. So, I need to be careful because of any backsplash, and this is hot. So that's 1 package. Like I said, roughly this is between 5 to 6 pounds of chicken thighs that I have diced up. And so we're adding in the second pack. Now we're going to give this a stir. Make sure this gets all mixed in. And we're going to let this cook for about 45 minutes to an hour. So once we get to that point, we'll be right back. So while this is cooking, we're going to want to skim off some of the grease or fat that pools up at the top, which is going to come from the sausage and the chicken, and some of it will also be from your roux. And I continue to do this through the cooking process, and I get as much as possible out. Ooh, a little hot. You will not be able to get all of it out because as this continues to cook, it'll keep building up, but at least you'll be able to keep it down to a minimum. Alright, so that's about it for now. So we can give this a stir and let this continue to cook. Alright, so this has been going for about an hour. So we are going to add in another container of chicken stock. And now we are going to add in our cooked okra. And like I said, I'm gonna have to make a video for this part. This is how I can add okra to my gumbo without it being slimy. So we're gonna add that in, give that a good stir. And let this continue to cook for about another hour. So we'll be back in a little while. Alright, so this has been going for about an hour. So the last part is to add our filet. So we're going to sprinkle this across the top. And you don't want to add this in too fast because it will become stringy. And what I like to do is put it on the top, give it a little bit of time to soak up some of the gumbo, and then I'll go through with a whisk and mix it up. And then come back and stir it up to get it incorporated into the gumbo. And I generally will use roughly a quarter of one of these little containers of filet because I like the taste of filet in my gumbo. Some people don't like it as strong, but so far I have not had any complaints with the way I've added, with the amount of filet I put in my gumbo. So gonna mix that up a little more, and also I use the whisk to get anything that's collected on the side. So now we're going to give it another stir. And we're going to give it one final taste test to make sure everything's good to go. Perfect. So now all we need to do is serve this up with a bowl of rice and we're good to go. So we'll be back in a little bit. We're all plated up and ready to go and have a good hot gumbo for lunch. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Remember, like, share, and subscribe. And new videos are posted every Tuesday. And remember, visit my website at fatboycooking.com. And until next time, enjoy.